Imagine receiving a gift so thoughtful that it melts your heart and changes the course of your family's future. That's exactly what happens when Toan and Diem return from their trip, presenting a delicate jade necklace that surprises and touches Toan's mother deeply. Over the next day, she witnesses Diem's grace, kindness, and respect firsthand, realizing she is the perfect daughter-in-law. Unable to contain her joy, she decides to host a grand gathering, introducing Diem to all her closest friends as her son's future wife. Stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming stories like this. After a long, adventurous trip that had taken them far from the familiar streets of their hometown, Diem and Toan returned with hearts brimming with excitement and anticipation. They carried with them a small, carefully wrapped package, one that seemed to hold more than just a material object. It carried their respect, affection, and admiration for Toan's mother. As they stepped into the warm glow of the living room, the scent of her favorite flowers still lingering from earlier that morning, she looked up from her chair with a smile that immediately softened the air. The sight of them arriving, their faces lit with eagerness and a subtle nervousness, already brought a flicker of curiosity and delight to her eyes. With gentle hands, she accepted the gift, feeling the weight of it in her palms, and carefully untied the ribbon, her fingers trembling slightly, not from age, but from the tender excitement that something precious was about to be revealed. As the paper unfolded, layer by delicate layer, the exquisite craftsmanship of a jade necklace emerged, glinting under the soft lighting of the room. Each curve of the stone had been carved with meticulous care, each facet polished to a luminous perfection that caught the light like a fragment of dawn. Her eyes widened in astonishment, her breath catching in her throat as she took in the sight of the beautiful piece. It was the very kind of ornament she had admired in boutique windows for years, a piece she had once thought of as a dream too distant to reach. But it wasn't the necklace itself that stirred her heart so profoundly. It was the thought, the care, and the intention behind it. In that moment, she realized that this was not just a gift, but a heartfelt message. Diem's choice spoke volumes. It revealed her sensitivity, her attentiveness, and her genuine desire to connect with Toan's family. There was an unspoken promise in that gesture, a subtle declaration of love and respect. The mother's eyes glistened as she lifted the necklace, examining it with a mixture of awe and deep appreciation, tracing the smooth edges and imagining it resting around her neck. Diem and Toan watched silently, their hearts pounding with quiet hope as the warmth of their offering slowly enveloped the room. Laughter and small, affectionate words followed, filling the space with a golden, tender glow. The moment stretched, rich with emotion, as the mother's initial shock transformed into heartfelt gratitude. She held the gift close, almost reverently, feeling a rush of warmth toward these two young people who had taken the time, the thought, and the love to make her feel truly cherished. In that simple, extraordinary gesture, bonds were quietly strengthened, and the promise of a future filled with care and mutual respect began to root, one delicate, shining thread at a time. As the initial surprise of the gift slowly settled, the room seemed to settle into a gentle rhythm of warmth and familiarity. The mother cradled the jade necklace in her hands, turning it over as though discovering new wonders with every movement. The soft glow of the afternoon sun filtered through the curtains, catching the polished surfaces of the stone, and she felt an almost magical warmth radiating from it. Her gaze shifted from the delicate gift in her hands to Diem, who stood quietly beside Toan, her eyes wide with an anxious yet hopeful light. In that gaze, she saw sincerity, thoughtfulness, and a quiet confidence, the kind that comes not from bravado, but from the natural purity of a heart that knows how to love and respect. Throughout the meal that followed, a subtle joy lingered in the air, like a fragrance that refuses to fade. The mother found herself stealing glances at Diem more often than she would have admitted a moment ago, noting the way she laughed, careful not to overshadow Toan, and the graceful, gentle manner in which she attended to every small detail, from passing the dishes to engaging in warm conversation. It was as if every action, every gesture, carried a layer of thoughtfulness that could not be ignored. For the mother, it was more than manners. It was the quiet proof of a character that resonated with the values she had always hoped her son would cherish in a partner. As the conversation flowed, stories of their travels unfolded, and the mother listened, captivated by Diem's eloquence and the way her eyes sparkled with excitement when recalling moments of adventure. She realized that the gift, the jade necklace, was merely a reflection of the larger truth she had already begun to sense. Diem had a heart attuned to care, an appreciation for beauty and sentiment, and most importantly, a respect for family. The mother's chest tightened with emotion, a blend of relief, admiration, and a budding affection she had not anticipated feeling so swiftly. The room, once ordinary and quiet, now seemed to hum with a gentle harmony, as though acknowledging the promise of understanding and love that had quietly begun to weave itself among them. By the end of the afternoon, the mother's thoughts had crystallized into certainty. This young woman, Diem, was someone who did not merely enter her son's life by chance. She was a presence that could nurture, honor, and uplift the family in ways both seen and unseen. The jade necklace, once a symbol of surprise, had transformed into a talisman of trust and admiration, embodying all the warmth and sincerity that Diem radiated. And as she looked at Diem, a gentle smile curling on her lips, she felt a profound sense of peace. Here was a person who could, without pretense or calculation, bring joy, respect, and harmony into their lives. A daughter-in-law, she realized, not just in potential, but in the heart's deepest recognition. That very evening, the mother sat quietly in her study, the jade necklace still resting in her hands, its gentle glow reflecting the warmth in her heart. She thought of Diem, her grace, her thoughtfulness, the unspoken bond she had already formed with Toan, and a smile spread across her face that refused to fade. There was no hesitation, no lingering doubt. She knew in the depths of her heart that Diem was exactly the person she had hoped her son would choose, and more importantly, someone who would become a beloved part of their family. Without a second thought, she resolved to share this joy with the people she cherished most, to celebrate not just the love between Toan and Diem, but the new chapter they would open together as a family. By the next afternoon, invitations had been sent and the home was filled with a flurry of preparation. Flowers were arranged with meticulous care, the dining table adorned with sparkling crystal and fine china, and soft music flowed through the rooms, blending with the warm scent of fresh pastries and roasted delicacies. The mother moved about with an air of excitement, her eyes shining brighter than they had in years, as she envisioned the gathering of her closest friends and family. Every detail mattered, for this was not merely a party, it was a declaration of love, a public affirmation of her approval, and a celebration of the union she had long hoped for her son. Without a second thought, She resolved to share this joy with the people she cherished most, to celebrate not just the love between Duan and Dwem, but the new chapter they would open together as a family. By the next afternoon, invitations had been sent and the home was filled with a flurry of preparation. Flowers were arranged with meticulous care, the dining table adorned with sparkling crystal and fine china, and soft music flowed through the rooms, blending with the warm scent of fresh pastries and roasted delicacies. The mother moved about with an air of excitement, her eyes shining brighter than they had in years, as she envisioned the gathering of her closest friends and family. Every detail mattered, for this was not merely a party. It was a declaration of love, a public affirmation of her approval, and a celebration of the union she had long hoped for her son. As guests arrived, their faces lighting up at the sight of the lovingly prepared setting, the mother felt a surge of pride and happiness. She greeted each one warmly, sharing laughter and small stories of the couple's recent travels, weaving a tapestry of anticipation and delight. Then, with a quiet but commanding presence, she stood before them, her gaze sweeping across the room until it found Dwem, who stood near Duan, a mix of nervousness and joy in her eyes. The room seemed to hush, drawn into the gentle gravity of the moment, as the mother raised her voice, full of warmth and certainty. "I am delighted to introduce to all of you my son's future wife, Ly Tu Diem." A collective murmur of surprise and delight rippled through the guests, followed by applause and cheerful exclamations. Dwem's cheeks flushed with happiness, while Duan's eyes glimmered with pride and affection. The mother approached Dwem, placing the jade necklace around her neck, a symbolic gesture of welcome, acceptance, and love. Laughter, stories, and heartfelt congratulations filled the house, each moment reinforcing the bonds of family and friendship. For the mother, this evening was more than a party. It was a celebration of harmony, of love recognized and cherished, of a future bright with promise. As she looked around the room, seeing the joy mirrored on every face, she knew that this was exactly how life should feel, full of warmth, laughter, and the comforting certainty that love, respect, and sincerity would always triumph.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các khán giả của kênh Lý Từ Diễm Review. Vậy là trong câu chuyện của chúng ta ngày hôm nay, sau khi nhận được món quà đầy ý nghĩa của Diễm và Toàn khi đi du lịch về, thì mẹ Toàn đã rất vui mừng hạnh phúc và quyết định sẽ tổ chức tiệc để giới thiệu Diễm với lại bạn bè của bà. Mọi tình tiết hấp dẫn về câu chuyện diễn Toàn sẽ còn được kể ở các video tiếp theo. Các bạn hãy bấm vào nút subscribe để đăng ký kênh, sẽ nhận được thông báo mới nhất về các tập phim sẽ được phát sóng hàng ngày trên kênh nha. Cảm ơn các bạn rất nhiều. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.